let's talk about courage, right? So I've been meditating on this verse from Joshua 1 and 9 that says, "Have not I commanded thee to be strong and of good courage? Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee, whithersoever thou goest." Now, this is a verse that I would consider to be a life verse of mine. But somewhere within the years of God calling me to do courageous things, like make difficult decisions and walk away from things that I thought would essentially be a part of my life forever, somewhere in the line of be strong and be of good courage, I lost the sense of courage. And because I lost that sense of courage, it led me to go down this path of just wanting to hide and feeling like I failed and just not knowing how to show up authentically, right? And I think before trauma is introduced into your life, or before you go through something difficult, you kind of have a sense of who you are, and you kind of have this sense of being, right? But then when God calls you to something hard, and that may be something that you have absolutely no control over, like a loss of a loved one, or again, walking away from a situation or an entity, then in some sense, it's like you lose your sense of identity. And so over the last few years, I've been just on the fence of just trying to figure out, okay, who am I in this season, and who will I be, moving forward? Because the girl who I was prior to a lot of the things that occurred in my life, I am no longer her. And I think a lot of times people spend so much time trying to go back in the past and piece together who they were before certain circumstances entered their life. But I don't believe that God has ever called us to that, right? And what I believe in this season of my life, and I don't know if this is where you are today, is that God is calling us to grab a hold to that good courage again. And that courage and that strength is not something that we have to muster up within ourselves, but that courage and that strength comes from us knowing and believing that God is with us whithersoever, wherever we go. God is with us whatever season we find ourselves in. God is with us wherever God leads us to go, or whatever difficult decision he is leading us to make. He is with us in every season of our life. So I made this video just as an encouragement tool for you guys, but also just an encouragement to myself that, Betty, you know what? God has commanded you, just as he did Joshua, right? And this wasn't some sort of unctioning, but God, a command is instruction. That is something that God is instructing you to do. And the word of God says, "Have not I instructed you to be strong?" Not in your own strength. You don't have any strength in your own, but to be strong and of good courage, to be made firm, and to grow up and trust in me. Why? Because I'm with you. And you don't have to be afraid of what other people are going to think about you. You don't have to be afraid of how people are going to feel about the decisions that I call you to, or the way that I encourage you to show up on this platform. You don't have to be dismayed. You don't have to be terrified and into pieces wondering what they're going to think about you. Instead, just do what God is calling and or leading you to do, and trust that every failure, every perceived failure, every instance whereas you feel like you wasted your time, every instance where you gave of yourself hoping for some good return on your investment, just know that even if you didn't get it from people, that it will come from God. Those who sow in righteousness will reap in peace. So just continue to do the right thing, continue to show up, continue to trust that God is with you whithersoever you go, and ask God to show you the root of the fear and the failure and the regret and the shame and all of those things, And ask God to show you how to build from that place, and to not try to go back in time and keep thinking about how you could have did things and what you should have did, but instead, Lord, how can I build from this place? How can I be strong and courageous in this place? How can I get such a focus on you that I don't care about what other people think or what other people say? But Lord, help me to love you in such a way that it is pure and authentic to who you called me to be. And when you get to that place, that is when you will live in your good courage. You cannot redo your past. You cannot change the things that occurred in your past, but you can make a decision to choose to trust God with your today. Okay? Onward, and y'all be encouraged.